All right, we're live in all aspects of the global world of technology. So now I'd like to call on anyone who'd like to address the school committee. And the microphone is here for you. You're welcome to sit down. What's the matter?
She raised her hand.
Okay. You're welcome to come up and just your name for the record, please. You can leave money, donation to the scholastic, we have a donation account for the schools. You can make a donation.
My name
Yes,
is
Leominster resident.
Andrea, and I am a parent of students from Leominster, but they're no longer in Leominster. So, all right. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm happy to be able to address my concerns regarding the JJIB policy with young people, boys, girls. We are familiar with this, yes?
Mhm.
My daughter works at a private school as in Connecticut, a secondary school, boarding school, and I asked her if she wanted me to share her opinion because she does do girls basketball and badminton, and she said no because she said it's too nuanced a concern for her mother to express, and she also said that I taught her to not say anything if she can't say anything nice. So that's her perspective. But here we are. I'm going to read because I'm nervous. And I believe, here we are. And I believe this is an important issue that needs a respectful voice. If my own child were identifying as transgender, I would want every right and dignity afforded to them. That's out of respect to all families. However, from a physical and competitive standpoint, it's important to let girls have their own space to compete and to win. And speaking from my own experience, I was a tomboy and I got better because of my competition with the boys, but I could never beat any of them. And I was a big time tomboy. And
I find that highly.
Me a tomboy? Oh, absolutely.
No, that you couldn't beat your brothers.
No, I couldn't, but I tried. From a physical and a competitive standpoint, it is important to let girls have their own space to compete and to win. I know girls can rise to the challenge, but that doesn't mean that we should take away from the fairness of single-sex competition. In conclusion, let's ensure that girls can compete and succeed in a fair environment and keep the sport safe and equitable. And I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity to speak.
And we appreciate you speaking.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the committee? If so, come on up.
Thank you. Bob Greska, Crestfield Lane, and same policy, the JJIB policy. Last year, we spent a lot of time talking about this policy. It seems like it's gone back and forth. I know it went back to the policy committee for a while. I would just like to really encourage everybody to push forward the entire policy that allows both the coaches and the female students the opportunity to back out of a sporting event that seems unfair or unsafe to them. I know we had the director, Mr. Plazzi, come in and actually explain that the coaches are already protective and watchful. He gave some examples of the things that were happening. It sounded great. The problem is it's not in policy. It needs to be put into policy so that the coaches and the athletes are both protected. Otherwise, it's opinion all the time. There are also a couple of female athletes who don't seem to really care. I think that's mostly because of the culture we've been in for the last 15 years. That's what they've been taught, that it's bigoted to basically say that it's not okay for a boy to be on a girl's team. Why would we call them girls' teams if they're for boys as well? We should just call them co-ed teams if we want to do that. That would make much more sense. We do know that the average teenage male is stronger and faster than the average female. That many of the examples over the past few years, girls have paid the price for the boys being on the girls' teams. We want to address that. This is definitely in our culture, even here in Leominster, a 75% issue that most people agree that girls should have their own sports, boys should not be on girls' teams. I think just backing away from that, being afraid to make a decision is really saying that you're really not taking your positions very seriously. I think you need to. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Would anyone else like to address the committee? Once again? Okay, we'll close this portion of the meeting. Anything online, Chris? Is there anybody out there who might want to address the school committee? Okay, one last time. If not, we'll close this portion of the meeting. Thank you to our speakers.
Thank
Communications. Student report. Yeah, that's you. You weren't studying, were you? Oh, you're supposed to say yes. No, you're supposed to say yes.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
So to start things off, last Friday, the class of 1975 visited LHS and took a tour of the school. Mayor Mazzarella helped lead one of the tour groups, and the class kindly donated a stone bench that will be placed near the flagpole entrance. Today, there was an assembly for sophomores to receive information about class rings. 2 clubs met today as part of the start of the club activities for the year. And in general, I think the phone policy is going great, and students are really complying and actively participating in classes. Thursday, October 9th, freshman elections will take place for class positions. And this Thursday, the chorus concert will be held at 6 p.m. in the LHS courtyard. It's open to the public, free, and there'll be a bake sale. Wednesday, October 23rd, there's Mole Day that will be celebrated by science classes to commemorate Avogadro's number, a number used to convert between a substance, mass, and a particle. November 14th to November 16th, the LHS Theater Company will perform The Wizard of Oz. And some updates are the marching band has placed first place for 2 weeks in a row at recent competitions. And the counseling department is working with seniors to navigate life after college and financial aid situations.
So just, the courtyard is the area between all those. No, it's the big courtyard, I think, is where they're having the concert. So my question is, are they gonna have people that let people into the building? I think it's the big one. But are they gonna have people to guide people in? Because you gotta go through this door and then up and then,
I believe so.
Mr. Butch? For $500,000, can you answer this question? They're having a concert on Thursday night in the courtyard. Courtyard is that area between the 2 hallways that run down the senior court. And I just want to make sure that there's somebody here, that we're inviting the public in. We just want to make sure somebody's out front to help them to get to the courtyard, which is not an easy thing to do. Unless you're bungee jumping. Yeah.
People into the courtyard so they can.
Did I want them to come to the front door or to the second flagpole, the aluminum flagpole? And then from there, somebody will help them get to the courtyard. How do you get to the
Sure, no problem.
first floor, right? Like bottom floor. All right, thank
You guys
you.
ready for me to just jump the gun? I'll go sit back now.
You may as well stay there because,
Do we want to hear
Finish.
the
Yeah, we gotta-
CTAI work, the rest of the student?
oh, I'm sorry, you weren't done yet.
I don't have any major updates yet. It's a good start to the year.
See? Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. That's the update. All right, so we'll do superintendent's report.
Thank you. So the first thing I'd like to mention is that Hirsch Patel, one of our student representatives here, was just recently received a letter of commendation as a National Merit Scholar from the College Board, which is very exciting. they both said a lot of things are on my list, so I knocked several items off. But I also wanted to mention that we are in the process of developing a strategic plan, which will begin next year because the current strategic plan that we have is sunsetting in the spring. And so families did receive a survey link through my Sunday message. We will be also holding some virtual focus groups the week of October 13th for staff and families. And we're really encouraging anybody who receives the survey links or anyone who receives an invitation to join in our focus groups to please attend. It is important to hear from parents, caregivers, family members, and so we are just hoping that people will participate. We will continue to send out through our weekly messages, and also we will ask principals to send out the link to families through the school messages so we can gather as much information as possible. So keep an eye out for those invites. School committee, they should be reaching out to you as well to participate in an interview. And so that is what we are doing right now. I also want to mention that for families of middle and high school students, the first quarter is coming to an end quickly. And so if families can encourage their students to take care of any outstanding assignments or projects, please do that. Family MCAS reports from the spring 25 testing session will be going home with students within the next 2 weeks. So keep an eye out for that. And then also next Monday, Leominster Public Schools is closed on October 13th for the upcoming holiday, and that the full calendar of school events is on all of our social media outlets. So please look that up if you are not sure of some of the upcoming dates. And also we have an early release scheduled for Wednesday, October 22nd. And I think that's it. Oh, the other thing is last week on October 2nd, it was National School Custodian Day. And so I want to just thank all of our custodians for all of the fine work that they do every single day. And I think that covers it.
They do an amazing job.
An amazing job.
I wonder if it's retroactive, because when I went to school, there were no early release days. So I've been building them up though, like retroactive. Take them all in one weekend. All right, thank you, Superintendent. Yes, and it's important to get involved now, not when the report is released. And then there's going to be no going back to modify it once it's submitted. So now's the time. Plan on it. There are many different mechanisms by which you can participate. So participate. Let us know. We really need that information. It's just not helping you. It's helping us and the whole school system. All right, facilities report. Just so happened to have Butch here.
I've been here for a little while.
Yes.
Actually, I really don't know where to begin. We got so much going on. So I want to thank Rick Bergeron for giving me a hand putting this little pamphlet together. I think you guys hopefully all have a copy. By all means, if you got any questions for me during this, just interrupt me and I'll do my best to answer them. First page, of course, it takes a village. I think, you know, it comes to our schools. Not only do we deal with the infrastructure, but we all deal with many inspections. We always have work outside of the district we have to do. We have to work on grants. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this page into it. And from the DPW to the Wendy and the mayor's office to the school department, a lot of the stuff we do and what I do, I couldn't do without them. So basically, I just want to thank all the people on this page and again at the end, the custodians who do a phenomenal job. I'll go with that. District-wide, some of the things that were a priority when I first came aboard was to properly maintain all the HVAC, air quality, and the such. And fortunately or unfortunately, you look at it, we were able to do a lot of stuff with grants. And I'm happy to report at this point that all the HVAC, all the plumbing, all the boilers in the district are working as required. We actually have our yearly preventive maintenance on all the systems in our buildings, and I'd actually put these up against anybody in the state at this point. Again, got to thank all of our contractors that work with us, and again, the custodians are instrumental in this part, making sure that we have filters and they bring any issues to my attention. Some of the things that we have done, again, a lot of us trying to get us to increase our carbon footprint. So in doing that, as of now in the district, including the MSBA accelerated program where we did boilers at Fallbrook, help me out here if I'm missing, Francis Drake, and LHS. So those have been done before I came in. Since then, we have replaced all of the boilers rebuilt all the ones at Samoset. We replaced the boilers at Priest, replaced at Bennett, Northwest, and this past year we did Johnny Appleseed. And we are at Skyview right now. Skyview had a boiler that was unrepairable, and we're in the process right now replacing that boiler. And again, that's something we can talk about later on when I get to that school. LED lighting, we have one school left again, and that's Skyview. Every other school has now been upgraded with LED lighting, with JA and Northwest being done this previous year. What else? Again, Chartwell's has been wonderful. They have purchased a bunch of new cafeterias for our schools, again, throughout the district. And we have a lot of new electronic signs as well. Any questions yet? No? Good. All right, LHS. Again, I'm going to bring up the new electric sign. We put one here and one in front of CTE. We had a problem with the hot water boiler system last year, which had again be upgraded. So now we got a high efficiency boiler, hot water boiler, and two huge 500-gallon tanks now. So we should be all set in the district. There's a lot of other things you see here that we've done. Rick Bergeron has been instrumental in bringing all of our buildings up to safety protocols with new cameras. We have a full key fob access system throughout the district. He's putting bollards up everywhere and tinted windows and shades on doors. So, I mean, he's been great in that aspect of it. And of course, we have the new field. And that is going great. I don't know if anybody's got any questions on that, but if you do, I'll be happy to answer those. School looks, I mean, it's great. It's got a big retaining wall out there. A lot of the drainage has been done. Center for Technical Education. I think the big one here is they have their 3 new buses. So the trades have new buses, so they're good to go in that. And the new culinary pizza oven, which is, I guess, a brick oven pizza. It gets to 1,000 degrees and it can cook a pizza in 5 minutes. So we finally got that installed over the summer.
Where's the pizza?
I haven't had one yet either, man. But they do have it now.
Are those buses from the ESSER funds?
Yes. Yep. LCE, I mean, there's really not much to report at LCE. The building is fairly new. I put a picture of the shed that CTE Carpentry built for us. So I just wanted to give a shout out to those guys for what they did. Also want to, CTE Plumbing's been really good doing jobs for us throughout the district as well. But really with that building, we take care of the filters and we change those yearly. And basically that's all we have to do with Whitney taking control of that school. Skyview. Again, I just mentioned how the new boilers are being done there. We did have a large roof area replaced this past year. We've had a new BDA, which is bi-directional antenna, which is to improve the fire and police communication up on the hill because we didn't have good communication there. So this was a big investment that helps them to get, inside and outside the building with the radio contacts. We added 2 new recirculator pumps there as well. And they have a new vestibule entrance for our building access. And again, I don't know if you can see that little picture of that boiler, but that's the one that's failed and that is being removed at this point. Oh, also with that, with Skyview, when we put the new boilers in, it's makes financial sense for us at this point to upgrade the BMS. I don't know if you know BMS, but BMS is a building maintenance system, which is the computers that control all the HVAC and plumbing infrastructure throughout the building. So the fact that we're updating this boiler, it's a lot cheaper for us now to update that BMS to bring us more up to today's standards. Samoset.
You can add the
Yes.
vestibule entrance because we'll be doing that sort of same thing in the new school at Fallbrook.
Yes. Yes.
Same kind of security
Yep.
system.
I think we added it to the high school too this year or this past year. Samoset. Again, Samoset, we were able to do the main thing we did there was the lighting, the LED lighting. We did, and again, we got a grant to do some of the work at that school. Again, team effort, with Wendy and Jen Bennington and, Lorene, my grant guru over here, and Melanie with the finances. I mean, it's a total team effort. And again, we got $729,000 towards Samoset this year, which is going to be doing some weatherization on the exterior of the building. We are adding heat pumps to all the office spaces, first floor and second floor. We're replacing all the air conditioning in the library. We're also going to replace the entire BMS because it's that BMS and that we can't even use it anymore. So that's all part of the process. And again, we're working with National Grid and Guardian Energy on that project. So hopefully I got more to report to you down the road.
They're going to be the same BMS as Skyview?
Yes. That's one of the big things. What we're doing now is the schools had so many different manufacturers, so many different companies that they had before that we're trying to streamline it. Now everything that we have can either be handled with Renard, who does our HVAC, or Boston Mechanical, and Daigle. In our systems now, we're trying to keep it with two, which would be automated logic and automated building systems. So what we're putting in there, yes, we're trying to make it so we don't have to go to 9 different people to get one thing solved. We still have a couple things that are proprietary. Greg Chapdelain's been great with that, helping us get the information to get things done with those projects. Johnny Appleseed. Again, we got brand new boilers there. And what else did we do in there? We had a capital project. Thank you to the city for doing some asphalt repairs in the back of the building. And again, they also got new LED lightings, new gym bleachers too. And I think we just put new bleachers on at Francis Drake as well.
I keep thinking all these schools is new. I keep saying new Samoset, new Skyview, new additions. Nothing. It's newer to us, I guess. Newest.
At Northwest, we did invest in some air conditioning for the summer programs. We added a couple mini splits in the interior classrooms. We had to update the compressors in there and the pneumatic controls. We completed the basement waterproofing project. And like I said before, they got LED lighting as well too. Francis Drake. They're getting new cameras again in some of the areas. We added cameras throughout there. As we all know, the portable building it's up and it's being used at this point. We also had a bunch of air conditioning at this school because of summer school programs. New front entry doors we put in, and I think that's about it for Francis Drake. We actually carpeted a couple areas in the school too for them. Fallbrook, we're getting a new school.
So skip this page.
So, and I can't, but again, we're still upgrading it when it comes to our safety and security. We're still doing the fobs. There has been some pre-construction work. Now the new culvert has been worked on, as well as the pre-construction for the sewer work. Free Street, new boiler. We also changed that from oil to gas this past year. They got their new playground last year. And in discussion right now, which superintendent asked us to look into, it's securing, getting some generators in those buildings, because those are the two schools, that and Bennett, that doesn't have generator power. So we're looking at that, and we got people trying to get us some numbers for those projects.
People do love those schools.
You know, I love those old buildings.
Yeah,
I
they love them.
And again, Bennett, new boiler, secure and coach-fed generators. And the last page is our new Lincoln portable buildings, which are up, running, and students are in it. We have a beautiful new playground back there just for that age group. And I think you got a little picture of it there, and we added some parking for that school as well. And that's all I got.
I think that's a lot.
I was gonna say, it's been busy.
Can I ask, just to be said again, the cameras at Prince Street?
Yep.
What can you share?
Oh, no, it's just,
Can you?
oh, no. Well, that school was very outdated, and the camera systems that we had there, we actually couldn't add to it. They were,
Antiquated.
the whole
The old
building's been
system's
built, yeah.
antiquated.
And
Yep.
we've pretty much done that throughout the district, and once in a while, they'll find some blind spots. So we'll just add cameras as they're needed. No.
And it's like technology. It just keeps changing all the time. When we first got, desktops, like, oh, and then come back a couple of years later, like, you got to replace these. Like, you do? Yeah, we do. Right? I mean, that's the business today. Most everything, whether it's software or hardware or technology.
I mean, I got to learn all the BMS systems again. I mean, it's constant.
Maybe that should be a trade here at the CTEI, is understanding building.
It's all right by me.
Yeah. It's a,
Just a quick question, then.
Yes.
Nightshade lights, do they automatically come down? and
No,
then
they have to pull them down. Okay, they're just a Velcro, and they just pull and it comes right down. And usually we have it set up that it's the shades there and the night lock's there, so they just put that lock in and pull the shade down.
So that's up to the custodians or the teachers?
Teachers, and they do training on it. So the schools have all been trained, and we've also built a mock-up for the fire department OEM to train on that. Yes, sir. Oh.
I
Okay.
just wanted to know who was responsible and if it was automatic.
Mhm.
Somebody. All right, thank you.
all right. Thank you. Nice job.
The question I have is, the spot you were saying that, on Francis Drake, you're saying 15 window air conditioning units. And
Yep.
then down over there, it says 4 mini split heat system.
Yes.
And there was another one further up. I must be very dumb. What was there a cost difference between just using mini splits versus the air conditioning units?
No, it was most of the time we'll put the mini splits or the heat pumps in areas where we have interior classrooms where we can't add in a window unit.
Uh-huh.
So most of the classrooms there have window units. If you see that's a mini split or heat pump, that's because it's an interior room. We can't put a window in there. Or it's a larger space that one air conditioner can't handle.
I guess I'm not asking it the right way. Was there a cost differential between using just mini splits versus the air conditioning units?
Yeah, well, it's definitely cheaper to put a window air conditioning unit in opposed to a mini split. But many times it's not feasible to have a window unit in an area, especially when it's an interior part of the building. So when we have an interior part of the building, we use a mini split or a heat pump, or we can put the condenser and compressor unit up on the roof. It can bring it just like central air conditioning. Because we have no outside window to pull in the outside air.
So it's because it costs more.
I would say it's probably about 25% more.
For the mini split or
to do
the
a mini split.
The mini split.
But I can probably do,
Then labor.
2 to 3 windows.
Right,
opposed
and then
to
labor
one. Yeah,
to run it through, could start cutting holes in the roof and everything.
yeah.
That's not cheap.
All right, I was just wondering if, in terms for, efficiency or, the length or the duration of the air conditioning unit versus the mini splits. What's the cost? What's the cost difference?
In the sense of maintenance.
Maintenance, yeah, whatever you want to put in there to make the argument, not make the argument. What is it?
I mean, like I said, the reason why we do it the way that we do it is that if you have a room like this room where we have windows
Okay,
and we have outside air that we can bring in, outside makeup air. Okay, then like at your house, you can put a window air conditioner, it's gonna cool that room. Okay, but if you have a space that's interior of your building where there's no windows, there's no real ventilation, in those situations, we have to put a compressor up on the roof and bring the lines into the building so that we can cool the air that way. And that's what a mini split is. Basically, if we have an interior room, that's how we have to cool the space, and that's how we have to get proper ventilation into that area.
so these 15 window air conditioning units, are they taken out at the end of the year or are they?
No,
kept
they're
there?
permanent. They're
They're
permanently in.
permanent.
Yep.
And that's all the way through, even with the Northwest too, right?
Mhm.
I guess in terms for maintenance, which is easier or harder in terms of maintenance? What's
Well, they're both basically, they're very basic. I mean, a window air conditioner, anybody can pull it out and clean out the filter. And that's basically what we're looking at as a filter. When you get to a mini split, you have an internal filter, you also have external filters, but you also have compressors. So again, when I mentioned how we have preventive maintenance yearly, okay, Renaud puts those into their preventive maintenance program. So those get checked every year. And if there's any issues, we address them right away. But usually you don't have any issues for a good, 6 to 10 years with any of it.
All right, I was just, I couldn't help myself. I had to figure out what, because, I guess in terms of maintenance and, I want to say smelling, in terms for air,
Mhm.
air purities or air, whatever way you want to, whichever way you want to dress it up, which is better for breathing.
Well, I mean, you're talking about different systems, okay? Like
Whichever way you want to play
right,
it.
well, a heat pump or an air conditioner, that's what it's going to do. It's going to condition the air. It's going to heat it or cool a little bit. When you're talking about ventilation, then you're talking about exhaust vents that we have on our buildings, and you're talking about air handling units, okay, which are all automatic. And that's how we keep the buildings breathing, if you will. Okay, it's not really an air conditioning issue. That's a ventilation issue. So that's how we get the air circulations in the buildings and in the classrooms to keep the air clean. And in that aspect, again, that's all part of our preventive maintenance. And those are all working as they're supposed to, and they're checked constantly. And most of the stuff that we have, there's anything that can be fixed right away, it's done between 24 and 48 hours.
So Ron, it's basically different units for different applications, depending on where you are. And that's something they assess when they meet with people that do the HVAC. They'll say, what do you recommend that we do in this particular unit, in this section of the building versus something else, right? So we have outside windows, so we can put air conditioners. They're very efficient. Trick behind all these things is cleaning the filters. If you don't clean the filters, you can spend
Well, that's where
$30,000 per
waiting for
unit.
Somebody to say something about efficiencies.
Yeah.
Which one is more efficient? Which one isn't?
They
efficient?
both, I think they both meet the energy
Every-
code.
Everything today. that we
Everything
put
meets
in
the
building,
energy
it's all
code.
Are rated. So everything's energy efficient now that we put in. It's got to be, goes through the underwriters laboratories before we can put anything in our buildings.
All right. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Mr. Nato.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
And now our star, Lorraine Sapola, is going to give us the updated numbers. Couldn't find one more kid to make it an even number.
Yes, Ms. Costa. is here for
6,200. You couldn't
special
find that
registration.
one more kid? You make it a 6,200 enrollment?
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
6199. The numbers that you have in front of you are from, well, October 2nd, but they are considered our October 1 numbers, and that's what will be given to the state. Wait for someone to ask me the question of the comparison between last year and this year. Is that what you'd like to ask, Sal?
Sure.
I was just looking it up.
The disparate.
Well, it seems at this point we are up by just a small number. I think we have 6 additional children this year than we did last year, so.
Okay.
But we are to the positive, so.
But we also picked up students from last year. Remember, we had a spike last year?
We did.
Of
Oh, yes. So
130
we
or
still
one-
have
Right.
those students.
So we
and-
weren't sure if those are transient or not, so we know we have them. That's a good thing.
Thank you. Yes.
One of the things that people ask is about space. And I try to explain that we might have the same amount of students in, say, Fallbrook, and there's some additional space in the school. But for years, we were educating in space that didn't meet the space requirements. So in other words, on special needs, we were making a closet, we were making a hall. Well, that's not educational space. And so people say, well, you have the same amount of students almost than you did, 10 or 15 years ago. Right. But we don't have the educational space. And that's what's different today. So we build it another school or any of the schools is we don't want to be teaching in, closets and hallways and all of that. Right. Up on the stage, all those places. So that is, I think the answer is the educational space requirements have changed. What you need to, how you educate students. Well, that's good. Thank you. At least we know you're being honest because it's 6199. Could have easily said we
All
have
the numbers.
6,200 students. Any questions at all? This includes our school choice in.
Yes, this number actually includes all of the students that we service. It includes our itinerant students who come in for some special services. It also includes all of the pre-K students. So the students who are here for IEPs and also the students who choose to tuition in as model students. So this is a snapshot of all of the students for the Leominster Public Schools.
Thank you. Very good. Don't go anywhere.
I'm not.
Right. And next on the agenda is MCAS presentation. Is this how we're going to handle MCAS from here on in? Is that what the presentation is? Okay. Take one down. Sit around.
Mhm. So as of last week, the 2025 MCAS information and the accountability information from the state was released to the public. And so give you a little snapshot. I appreciate the opportunity to actually provide some of this information for the people who do watch your meetings, to give them a little bit of a primer on what the accountability system is. Matt, can you put up the, thanks. So just the accountability system includes MCAS, but it includes a lot more as well. And the state has 2 separate areas of accountability that they use. One of them, a very fancy name, criterion reference targets. The way that we think of that is comparing ourselves to ourselves. So we have areas from the state where we were. They give us targets that we need to meet. And then they give us a report and a rating based on how Leominster is doing at meeting those targets that have been set just for Leominster. So the criterion reference targets are a comparison of just our students within the district. The next is an accountability percentile. And this is a comparison that the state does for schools compared to other schools here in Massachusetts within the same grade spans. So non-high school versus high school. And that would be comparing us against others. So we get both of those ratings from the state. The next slide tells us what is measured. So they measure achievement, which is our MCAS scores in ELA, math, and science. They measure student growth, and that's in ELA and mathematics. So that's a measure of how much value we add to a student's experience in both ELA and math. The high school level, they measure the high school completion, either the four-year cohort, so how many students that start with us in ninth grade go through 4 years and successfully graduate. And then they also have an extended engagement. So there are some students that take 5 years to get through, and that's also a measure. Another piece is the annual dropout rate. So they keep track of that for our school. We have a target for that. For all of our students, another one of our targets is the percent of English learners meeting their target to reach English proficiency in 6 years. So they have an assessment, and the state is presuming that we will get them to a level 4 on their access scores within 6 years. Chronic absenteeism is also a measure for all of our schools. It's for grades 1 through grade 12. And chronic absenteeism, as we have discussed, is students who are missing 10 or more % of their days in membership. So if we do have them with us for an entire year, that would mean that they would have missed 18 or more school days, and they would be considered chronically absent. One more piece that's just at the 9 through 12 level is the percent of 11th and 12th graders who are completing advanced coursework. For us in Leominster, that means students who take part in advanced placement, Project Lead the Way, which we have 3 pathways now for our science classes at Leominster High School, dual enrollment courses, and early college courses. And then on our vocational side, any 11th or 12th grader that is involved in a co-op experience, those are all considered advanced coursework. And that's a target that we're given, and we need to move towards that target. So that gives everyone an idea of what it is that the state provides us as far as accountability. This is what we see for the district when they provide us with this information, and there is lots of it, but I'll just tell you at the very top, the overall classification for Leominster this year is not requiring assistance or intervention. The reason for that classification is because the district has made moderate progress towards its targets in all of those measures that I had just talked about. We'll see that the next piece down, progress towards improvement targets, we are at the 45th percentile, which again gives us that moderate progress towards meeting our targets. And then if you come down to the chart on the bottom, you'll notice that there are scores for 2024 and 2025. So one of the pieces of their very complicated formula is that they use scores from the 2 prior years. So last spring and the spring before. I'd like very much to highlight that right now for 2025, we've moved from 38% of our targets to 50% of our targets. So that's quite an improvement for the district as a whole. These are the accountability classifications for each of the schools. The middle column, the progress towards improvement targets, That is the criterion referenced or comparing ourselves to ourselves. And then the last column is the accountability percentile. So that would be where our schools fall in a continuum from 0 to 100 based on schools in the same grade span, so high school or non-high school. And as you can see in the middle column, all of our schools have made either moderate or substantial progress towards the improvement targets for the criterion reference. We do have, I will say Fallbrook School is another, again, one of our schools that has a high percentile. We'll shout out to them and Johnny Appleseed School as well for 53% their accountability percentile. And I know we're giving you lots of information, but there is a lot. One of the other things that we do every year when we bring to you is how we have done on our MCAS. MCAS has not gone away. It is still a very rigorous assessment that provides us with lots of standards-based mastery information that the schools use to help when they're planning their school improvement plans or at the district when we're planning for our overall improvement plan and strategic plan. We talk about how many students we have that are in the meeting or exceeding expectations. So we clump those two categories together. And what you see here are trends over the last 4 years or since we've come out of the pandemic. So we've seen some steady growth, especially in our middle grades. So 4th grade through 7th grade is a nice cluster of growth that we're seeing. And those grades do in ELA have high quality instructional materials. They have had them in place at the elementary level for a good number of years. And I think we're on our 4th year at the middle school. Yes, 4th year at the middle school. So it's nice to see some gains there. And in 8th grade, we're pretty much holding our own over the last couple of years.
Can I ask a question? I guess it just looks like in general from both this slide and the other side, that the high school, there seems to be a drop. So you have some strength, in the below grades. And so what happens at the high school that has tapered off?
Well, one of the things we do know is the high school grades were the last to adopt high quality instructional materials. And it wasn't because they chose to or not. It was because in our rollout, we were starting at the elementary and moving along through. So for ELA and mathematics, we're in our 3rd year. So we've had, we may have had a little bit of an implementation drop. So while the teachers and the students were getting used to the high quality materials, some different ways of presenting information and also different ways of students being able to demonstrate their mastery. Yes.
Or 25 to the same 4th graders of last year, or is it in cohorts? Like I should be looking at grade 4, 2025, but grade 3, 2024.
The second is correct, yes. So these are,
So then there's a drop off.
there are specific students. So there, we're not comparing one set of students to themselves. It's still, we are comparing them though to the grade level standards that they've had each year. So each of those 4th grade classes are taking an assessment on grade level standards.
It depends on the grade.
Okay, and then
Like-
mathematics.
What grade?
I was saying just in general, some of the grades, I feel like more challenging than others.
Yeah.
I mean,
And there's stuff happening at the same time.
Sure. And same thing in mathematics. We really, again, are seeing a good solid growth or good solid scores in our middle grades. So grades 5 through grades 8. those grades have had high quality materials. Teachers have had years to become familiar with those materials and the content specialists to support them with that. So grade 10, we have had, this is our third year with Agile Mind, which is a program that has been fully embraced by our teachers, but it is a little bit different way of working with mathematics, conceptual mathematics versus some of the ways that we've done things traditionally in the past.
But if we're using software to sort of measure the success of a student or where a student's at any particular time, when you get to, grade 10, and we've gone from 38% down to 24%, how do you even, meet or exceed, and 24% of our 10th graders are meeting or exceeding. So how do you, in our math software, do we even get to the next level? How does it even allow you to get to the next level unless you meet or exceed it? At least meet it. You know what I'm saying? So I was under the standing that our software doesn't let you get to the next level until you've comprehended that first baseline of whatever the math exercise is. It just won't let you do it. Yeah.
So we do have a program that is very individualized from kindergarten through 8th grade.
Right.
And yes, that this is one data point. That's another data
No,
point,
I
and we
understand.
have a variety of them. The next level down on the scores is partially meeting, and a good chunk of our students do fall into that partially meeting. So they may need a little tweak. They may be a half of a grade level below, or they may be one grade level below, but they're not, they still have an awful lot of knowledge. And then we're determining what we can do to get them up to this threshold of meeting.
Right, because I guess the algorithm or the data that it collects on that student kind of understands what's going on here, that they're not getting that, what's necessary. They're caught up in a particular area. They just can't seem to get through that part. So they come back and teach it a different way, or bring it back as a different exercise so they get it, so they can move on to the next level.
Yes.
Right? That's in theory how it works. You just don't get there. So what you're saying, there's a percentage of students that are maybe haven't met it, but they're almost there.
Yes.
But we don't know what that percentage is because we don't measure that. That isn't submitted to the state.
Well, this test does give us a scaled score for every student, and then also gives us their itemized results that are by standard. And our teachers at the high school level, I'm looking at Sandy because they devour this information about their individual children and say, okay, this looks like I have these 3 students in my 3rd period class that may not have gotten this part of the algebra standards.
Mhm.
And I'm going to need to focus very closely on that. In ELA, it may be that they see their comprehension score, or it might be a writing score that they can see. I have students coming to me from 8th grade that seem to have some additional work that they will need. So they see that on iReady and they see that on MCAS. So they are individualizing. They have a large cohort of students that they're
But that's just not measured here, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So we don't know what that is. So it might be, I don't know what category you put it in, let's go almost meeting, right? That's.
We're at 38% the year after COVID, basically.
Right.
Which is probably, we know math was probably the worst area that was hit after COVID. So for it to drop 10% from last year to this year for grade 10, maybe there are some kids that are partially meeting, but a little alarming, a little concerning.
And I don't mean to complicate things, but the state every
This
year.
is math we're talking about,
Is.
so it's
And
okay.
I love math.
It's okay to complicate it.
So the state has, every year they set the cut scores for what would be not meeting, partially meeting and exceeding. Those scores, cut scores do not stay the same every year. They also have, over the last couple of years, changed the scaled scores for based on the new standards. And it took them a while to do that at the 10th grade level. So they did it in grades 3 through 8. And then when they got to grade 10, they were concerned that there may be a number of students, a percentage of students that were not going to get a competency determination because of MCAS. So they slowed the rollout of a higher level of cut scores. Those are now in place. So they are holding the 10th grade students starting in 2026 or 2025 to those higher level scores. Unfortunately, that may mean that what we're seeing for percentages from 22 to 25 is not apples to apples.
And isn't there something statistically, Lorraine, like when you're looking at those scores and the charts and the graphs on each child, that kid may be getting maybe at an acceptable rate for him or herself, stop me if I'm wrong, but then there's also a statistical analysis where they show where they should be going, right? There are two lines. So that.
I
Computing.
I get it,
what
but
they're doing,
I mean, I think if somebody comes in and a parent wants to, have their kid go to school here versus somewhere else, and they look and they say, well, 24% of the 10th graders either met or exceeded, I'm just saying it doesn't look good. And,
Right.
and so let me just say this, I've been into almost every grade level math, and the teachers know what they're doing. I mean, there's no question about it. And maybe there'll be some correlation between putting the cell phones aside and paying attention to what is going on in the classroom. And that's what I'm getting to, is that it's not a lack of knowledge by the teachers. They blow me away when it gets to math. And I'm like you, I like math, but
I will say
they're
that
certainly competent.
the high quality materials, one of the things that we hear from the ELA teachers all the time is the students really engage with the reading materials.
Right.
And so we are by no means saying that we're changing up the way that English is taught,
Right.
but we have provided them with a variety of materials, and some of them very focused to where our current teenagers are. And go ahead, sorry.
Well, I'm sorry, but even the content, the trade books, materials that the students are reading now, as opposed to even what they were reading or expected to read 15, 20 years ago. So now you have a different type of literary approach, and also I think more choices in terms of what they're reading, even in terms of the summer, when they do the summer reading, that approach, we've changed that multiple times. And we've gone from, let's say, multiple choice tests to actually letting the student larger list of possible books that the student can read. And even a CTEI student could be a trade book. It could be something on plumbing, something on carpentry, something that where they have the back part of it, because you need the background in order to understand any story. Like I always use let's say social studies. I'm teaching All Quiet on the Western Front. In order for the students to really grasp the full picture, they should know what's going on culturally, what era it is, the war, what was happening during that war. So it isn't just, we're not just giving them the book, which was happening perhaps 15, 20 years ago. There's more content, and there's more background.
Josh?
Thank you. So back to math, 10th grade.
Yes.
So you mentioned Agile Minds. That's a program that's used only in 10th grade?
It's used in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. So it's algebra, geometry, and algebra 2.
So, I mean, I'm wondering if we can use the MCAS scores as a red flag to maybe take a look at Agile Minds to make sure that that's completely compatible with preparation for the MCAS new higher standards.
Sure.
Because
And
if we have a contract with that company, or we bought it and the license is due, I mean, it seems to me like it's time to dump it.
Or is it brand new?
It is brand new.
Right, and that's doing it 'cause it's brand
Agile Mind is in its 3rd year. It is a conceptual mathematics program. And so I will say that part of what we certainly are as concerned about this. I am not trying to sugarcoat this at all. This is definitely a concern. The people at the high school, we are talking about this. We are looking at the standards. The MCAS gives us like the 30 questions and each standard and tells us how our students did on those standards. And we're matching those standards up to where they are taught within that program. And if we need to supplement that program to say, yes, we teach it to this point, and MCAS may ask us to go a little further, we're now in a really good place for that teachers to be able to do that and then use other assessments to triangulate this to figure out what our concerns are. So yes, you're right. We do need to take a very close look at this.
So as far as personal experience, I have a child who was in 10th grade 2 years ago. Was the first year that he struggled with math or had concerns or complaints about the way the classroom was taught, how it was more student-led, kind of go in the corner and figure it out as a group than it is led by a teacher. And that was a question that we had all year long. So
Okay.
it's interesting to see this dip
Sure.
and see the difference in instruction. So I think it's definitely worth looking at.
Yes, certainly. Thank you.
Greg, did you have anything?
What do the teachers think of it? Agile Mind.
I have to go back and ask. They've been very much involved with the professional development. We've had consultants come in and work with them. Our content specialist is working with them. It is a little bit of a shift, as Josh had mentioned, from the traditional teacher stand and deliver model. There is more conceptual or coming to understanding of it and being able to find various ways to solve a problem. And so some of our teachers wanted support with that, but they feel very comfortable with the product now. And that's why I had mentioned, I think now is a good time to say, all right, let's take a look at these results and see what areas we may need to supplement this.
Well, one thing we know is every kid learns differently.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, at some point, I'm sure we'll have 10 different programs. And when one program notices that the student this isn't working, which maybe move to another one. I mean, I'm sure that's the future, but, and I can't even say that I could meet or exceed in the 10th grade. It's pretty tough stuff that's out there right now. I mean, this is high level, even at this level here at 3rd and 4th. We were all taking naps on the ground at kindergarten, and these kids are writing thesis
No naps.
papers. And
Right.
I'm just saying, they're writing thesis papers in the kindergarten. And no, I understand. Yeah. But I mean, I think we're all trying to understand it, and we're doing, right, as we do these things, we're doing them with the best interest of the students and the teaching staff to try to better understand it. So, all right. Thank you very much.
Yes. Slide.
Oh,
I underlined the
My high
Oh.
points.
the high points. You put it in a different color.
thing in my.
Oh,
pen.
that's a horse of a different color.
Percentage of 11th and 12th graders completing advanced course. What's the percentage? I guess it's a multifactorial question. One, the percentage of 11 and 12 graders this year versus last year, and how is it compared to the other districts?
So we're given a target. We want to steadily increase the number of our 11th and 12th graders who are taking part in those advanced placement or high-level courses. I have to say, Ron, I don't have that in my head. We'll make a note, and I will certainly bring to you the percentage of our students, and I can do that over the last couple of years and through 25.
And
So the percentage of our student. Yeah,
the other districts.
I can give it
comparison
to,
contrast,
we
is
can
it getting
compare to the
better,
state.
Or is it getting worse?
I
I
will,
have to piggyback on Josh's questions. Does it show? What does it show? Does it show something? Or doesn't it show? Or is there something missing? What happened?
so I will certainly bring you the specific.
No?
And I can compare Leominster to what the state numbers are, and I can also let you know what the target is that they're asking us to move towards. I will bring that at another time. I don't have that in my head tonight, but I'll certainly bring it.
Can I just add to Ronnie's point, because that's a great point? And wondering if MCAS, you mentioned that they changed the standards. did MCAS release anything to the districts to let them know, hey, we changed the standards, you're likely gonna see a dip, or you're likely gonna see some sort of slide?
We do have information that they had given us about slowly increasing the cut scores for these different areas. And I can certainly bring that to the table too.
When,
Maybe like with, as you're viewing Agile Minds, reviewing it, maybe those two things explain each other. I don't know.
I guess basically, just to pick on you and on Josh, you know, when you're saying the cut, when they're saying the cut, I guess I'm really sensitive to getting cut.
Sorry.
What happens? Who suffers when you get cut? And what are the what are the implications for those that didn't get cut, or the potential to get cut?
And it may have been a poor choice of words on my part. What they set a level, and if you have a scaled score of 500, you will be at a certain one of these categories. So where they set the level to be in a category or to be in a category above or below, they do set those every single year. So it's a placeholder to determine which one of these 4 categories you would be in.
But I guess basically, does it hinder or help? Does it make it
actually doesn't,
sign? Does
it doesn't
show-
hinder
does
or
it
help
let you-
for
you
students.
become marginalized?
No, it does not. It is a way for us to compare or to have a target to meet. But unfortunately, that does change upon occasion, and it did change tremendously with 10th grade. So
Changed everybody in the States.
It did.
Everybody's
Right.
at a level playing field.
certainly, thank you.
So you could have feasibly, you could have another,
What is a level playing field?
all right,
I
but
mean,
Ron,
a level
you
playing
could
field is
have,
like this table.
Ron,
Like you were
you,
saying earlier,
right.
it goes like this too.
But what we don't know is the variant, is that there could be a factor in there where there are 10% of the students that are like almost to that point where they're meeting the expectation. We don't know what that is, right? I mean, tonight, we don't know what that is. So it could be another 10% or another 15% that are just almost there, just
So
And
right
we
on the
can get
cusp.
that information, and I certainly would, Renee's taken good notes for what we can come back with to let you all know what we have found and what our plans are moving forward, especially with 10th grade mathematics.
maybe we find at the end that MCAS is the problem and we're vindicated, right?
Well, that's where I was.
It's one data point. Yep.
What math did you take?
So I do want to leave you with our
Yes.
high points that we had talked about. We are celebrating that we have moved to the 50th percentile for the criterion referenced, up from 38%. We have made substantial or moderate progress at every single one of our schools
Good.
towards their targets. The elementary and middle schools have been working tirelessly regarding absenteeism, and they exceeded their targets at all of our elementary and middle schools for that specific rating, chronic absenteeism. And at our high school level, 9 through 12, we did meet our target for progress for our L students. So for students, the percent of students that hit their progress for the year met our target. So those are 4 high points that we would like to celebrate.
49.2% last year.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know overall.
Sure.
I just wanted to point out, if you go back to the school accountability classification slide, so the accountability percentile, as Lorene mentioned, is the number that indicates the school's performance relative to other schools in the state. I just want to acknowledge that every elementary and middle school, that number went up this year. So I think that is important. And then the other thing that I want to mention is that Francis Drake went from moderately improving their targets in 2024 to substantially improving targets. The same is in the case of Northwest, and the same is in the case for Skyview. Samoset and Fallbrook were substantially meeting the targets last year, so that has been maintained, which is not easy to maintain. So there are a lot of really positive items here. And I just want to recognize that the work that schools and teachers are doing to make those impacts. I just wanted to end with that.
Good night.
No.
Good night.
We're done. I'm moving on to the next item.
All right, okay. I just wanted to know.
CAPS overview. Ms. Sandy Cucchiera, you are the star of the show.
So meetings. Nice to make those connections with other communities because there are 13 groups now, and interesting to see where they're going and what they're doing. As you know, they have expanded their adult program with the lease of the building on Mechanic Street, which we voted for, and the mayor signed off on that. So they're now adjusting the building. They're doing a lot of innovations, and it should be a great place. And, you know, possibly at some time we can go visit because there aren't that many facilities right now for adults with special needs. So that's a good thing. So the opening ceremonies were in September. I went to that. So if you look at your packet, it's been 50 years. And it's a speaker there talking about mindfulness. She was quite good. It was interesting to go around. There are over 200 staff, faculty, and each person had to come up with a word that they felt fit the program and the students. And it's all positive. It's just a lot of positive feeling. And she was the speaker, this Joanne Woods. And then they're looking forward to what they're doing. I mean, you're obviously capable of reading it, but the goal is to empower these students, young adults also, so that they can move forward and be able to care for themselves and be able to join the community fully to whatever their capacity is, and then some. They also renamed the Center for Education after Bob Foley. He was at Fitchburg State probably a few years before I was, and he was the first one. And they dedicated it to him. He spent many years establishing this collaborative, and it's grown over the years. And then they're looking, the building is actually on 690 Mechanic Street, and it's community-based. And then they're looking to add, as I said, there are more programs, there are more buildings. And again, it's just, it's a great collaboration among the 13 communities. So it's a good direction they're going.
When they
in.
talk about the 50 years, this is probably one of the most
It's
revolutionary things,
It's
and
amazing.
a real big step in the right direction. I just hope they can maintain their funding
I
because
hope so too, because even
it's really important.
the high school program, it's just, they're doing so much and the staff is so dedicated. And what I also noticed, they had given awards for long-term service, and most of the faculty there, they've stayed for 25 years, some of them. So something's going well. And
we are
I'm happy
lucky.
we're part of it.
We're lucky that they're there and I'm sure they're not the highest paid group of people that there is out there.
They try to be competitive,
Yeah.
but they are having problems filling some of the positions, especially for sign language. They hired a couple this year, but they need more. And that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Because it's a very specific skill.
Well, they've done a wonderful job, and I saw the construction, they're redoing the whole building over there for them.
Yeah,
So it's
supposed
all
to
going to
be
be cut.
great.
You must have seen it, right? I mean, they're
Yeah.
customizing it.
Once I left, they made it like that. I was like, there's my office right there.
So good stuff. Thank you. Let us know when they get closer to being able to take a tour.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any questions? Our approval of the minutes for September 2nd. Can you believe it? It's a month later. All right, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Greg.
I wanted to get a clarification on it. Katie, did you number
Well, we got to make a second and then questions or comments. All right, now questions and comments.
You on for?
I think it was a 6-2.
But I don't
I
know.
voted with you.
Yeah, so it's a
6-2.
with Sandy and I dissented.
Yeah.
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 On the
First
yeah.
motion.
Yeah, the first one.
Thank you.
All right? Okay. If there are no other questions or comments, all in favor? Those opposed? Thank you all. Now we're going to move on to subcommittee reports, policy subcommittees. Do we have anything from the? Right?
The Leominster Public Schools competency determination policy.
Mhm.
And so we voted to approve it as is. The first we'll fill in the required, number, lettering. But that's the first one.
All right.
And then the second one is the patient admissions policy. And it is our policy that we currently have with some inclusions and updates. Some state criteria. And so we'd like to approve for those policies.
Okay, that's the recommendation by the chair. Is there a second? Second by Ron. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor? All right. Anything else? All right, we'll move now on to finance subcommittee.
Sure. Warrants. Yeah,
Just spend.
not as bad. God. All right, warrants for the general fund.
Mhm.
We've got warrant 7, $182,800.76. Warrant 8, $868,564.81.
Mhm.
Warrant 9, $247,653.47. Warrant 10, $2,744,731.62. Warrant 11, $744,524.51. Warrant 12, $2,896,533.51. Grants and revolving. We've got warrant 7, $132,295.67. Warrant 8, $366,356.33. Warrant 9, $33,420.05. Warrant 10, $267,957.28. Warrant 11, $323,862.02. Warrant 12, $375,431.54.
All right, there's a motion by Melissa. Is there a second? All right, second by Ms. Gutierrez. Any questions? If not, all in favor? Those opposed? Thank you. Now move on to vote on the CAPS representative.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Sandy.
All right, all in favor? When will be the inaugural ball? Will there be a party? Vote on Keystone representative?
And
Who's
generally
doing
that is the,
Keystone?
Superintendent.
Yeah.
So I vote for the superintendent to that role.
Second. All right, by Josh. All in favor? Thank you. Approval of the warrants we did. We have what's called now obsolete equipment. It's given a new name of, it means it's lost its use of purpose. I like that. It looks like a Zamboni machine. Can you see? Hey, I can see him. What do you mean some kid? I can see Sal riding down the street with the Zamboni thing.
I went.
Next
does
trailer.
look like
Hey,
a Zamboni.
Sweeper going, lights going off.
Next track there.
You see that?
I don't know how we're driving. I'll drive that.
It's got a sweeper going, lights and things.
And a
things
flamingo
to top.
costume.
Flamingo costume. All right, does anyone make a motion to declare this
To,
the surplus or the were obsolete.
Get rid of the
All right.
obsolete
Is there a
equipment.
second? Second. Thank you.
I'll go buy it.
Any questions or comments? If not, all right. I don't think you have any more room in your yard to put these toys that you have.
We've already done all the.
First reading, second reading, in the middle school pathway policy. So anything on the new world business? I just have a list
Go
I'm going
ahead,
to pass
Matt.
out of events for in the city, and a lot of these, the students from our Mayor's Youth Council helping out with, and a lot of the high school or school are participating. Go ahead.
So see, we do need to add, Chris, to, the resolutions we'll need to vote before, the conference. So in the next meeting, it probably should be on. Yeah. So that's there.
For new business, could we also add the review of Agile Minds 10th grade math?
Mhm.
So we could just keep that on the forefront.
Anything else? Just the report at the end there, HR report that we get, that's at the very end, and then motion to adjourn. All right, second, all right, second by Jennifer. All in favor? For the rest of you, stay here.